welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
And here we are with part 2, day 2 of our VR social platforms. They are the place to be. We're learning all about this in our article, hanging out in virtual reality in the same way you might hang out with your friends and go shopping downtown or meet at a coffee shop to chat. You can now do that with your friends all around the world and do it in virtual reality. You put on your VR headset and it's like you're in a whole new world with anyone you want to be with, anywhere you want to be, anytime you choose to be there. It's pretty cool. Now, I have a few things with this. I have a computer, but I don't have a VR headset, I have to admit. I still play games using a mouse or a keyboard or a controller. And I've seen some of these videos where it looks like people just got a VR headset for Christmas, and there they are playing a boxing game and they punch the TV and break their TV, or they're playing a Mario or a Sonic game and they jump in the game and then they fall in real life on the living room floor. And it looks quite painful or maybe even expensive if you're breaking things. You, though, have actually tried a VR headset in real life.
Yes.
What was it like? Did you fall down or hurt yourself or anything?
No, it was really cool and it wasn't a VR experience at home.
Oh, okay.
We went to this warehouse.
All right, very mysterious, big empty building, kind of.
And can you believe it? I can say that I've been on the International Space Station.
In a warehouse?
Yep.
How did they get the space station in the warehouse? Isn't it in space?
So it's really cool. Once you put on the headset,
oh, I see.
You're there. And you
Really?
you're actually walking around the warehouse.
So that's why they need a big space. You actually walk. You don't just press walk on a button or something.
No,
wow.
You're actually moving around and you're actually walking around on the space station.
Interesting. In virtual reality.
In virtual reality.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And what's really cool is once you put on the headset, they're able to link to other headsets.
Okay.
So you're actually walking around in a group with your friends.
So you did have an avatar. There was like a computer Kiki on the space station.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
You can see the silhouette of other people.
You can see the shape of the person.
Yes, because the focus wasn't like a social platform.
Right.
The focus was actually exploring the ISS.
Okay.
And you were able to pick up things. And also, you could actually watch videos that the astronauts filmed.
Oh, neat. Okay.
So it was really cool.
So moving around, looking around, it all felt very natural and normal? Okay, well that's one of the things I would be worried about. I'd be walking into walls, or I would feel sick if I looked around. So interesting. Maybe I'll have to find a VR headset and give it a try, and then try out a social platform. Let's find out so much more about it in our article starting now. VR social platforms are great for catching up with friends. You may be in the same city or on different coasts. However, in the virtual world, you feel like you're there with them. You can spend hours playing games, watching movies, or just talking. All right, so we're going to be looking at VR social platforms. They are the place to be. They're a popular place to go, maybe now and definitely into the future. We already know they make hanging out with your friends easy, convenient, and very, very fun to do. And we already know you can choose anywhere you can think of, anywhere in the real world, anywhere you might imagine. Let's find out more about the kind of things you could do when hanging out with your friends in a VR social platform.
VR social platforms are great for catching up with friends. Okay, so we've been talking about hanging out with your friends. And basically, to catch up is another way to say you are meeting up with your friends to hang out, or to, you might you might have been, you might have not seen your friend in a while, so you want to catch up. You want to find out what they've been doing, how they've been. So that's what catching up with your friends mean.
Exactly. Life is always happening. Things are always going on. And when you catch up, it's sort of like you're going to find out what the new stuff is. What's the new information? A lot of people might look at their phone a few times a day to catch up on the news, catch up on social media, see what your friends are posting or talking about. Maybe on the weekend, you might catch up with your sleep or catch up with sports. You kind of bring yourself up to date. You get the latest info. So that's always fun. Of course, these days, you can catch up on a Zoom call. You can catch up by trading text messages, or if you're really old-fashioned, pick up a phone and call a friend. And that's all great. That's all wonderful. But it's not like really being with that person in the same place. Back to the article, it says you may be in the same city or on different coasts. Yes, this definitely makes hanging out and catching up with friends harder. If you're in the same city, well, you can probably arrange to meet without too much trouble. But if you're on different coasts or in different countries or in different continents, well, it's a lot harder because these places are far away. When we say a coast, that's basically just the edge of a piece of land where it meets the ocean. If you're at the coast, you might be near a beach, you might be standing on a cliff looking out at the ocean or the sea or something like that. Many of the big cities in Taiwan, like Taidong or Tainan, they're on the coast, they're on the edge of the land where it meets the water. And when we say different coasts, well, yeah, imagine you live in Tainan and your friend lives in Taidong. That's the east coast, that's the west coast. They're far away. Or in the case of somewhere like America, New York is on one coast, California is on the other coast. That's thousands of miles away. You can't just meet your friends for coffee very easily.
All right, let's get back to our article. However, in the virtual world, you feel like you're there with them.
Exactly right.
So it brings people together onto a online space,
There
a
you
virtual
go.
space.
That's right. You could do it for a few hours and you don't have to drive or take a train or get in an airplane. You can meet your friend from far away without ever leaving your homes. And while you're meeting, while you're hanging out, you can spend hours playing games, watching movies, or just talking, and probably doing 100 other activities. Anything that you like doing with your friend, apart from maybe arm wrestling. You can't really arm wrestle.
Or maybe
you could do virtual arm wrestling. I don't know if that's possible. You couldn't put on their makeup. Well, no, you could probably put on their makeup too. But there's a lot of things that you could do in the virtual world. And of course, hanging out, playing games, watching movies, talking would be some of the most common and most popular. But there are other things that we might be mentioning after the break. You can also learn to cook, draw, and repair things. Better yet, you can even make new friends. VR social platforms make it a lot easier to be with others. They don't limit where you spend your time or who you spend it with. They're really worth checking out. All right, we are back from our break talking about some of the things you and your friends from near or far could do when you're hanging out in a VR social platform. We talked about typical hanging out activities, watching movies, talking, listening to music, playing games, you know, those kinds of things. But that's not the only kind of stuff you can do on a VR social platform. There's a lot of other options.
Okay, let's find out what else you could do. You can also learn to cook. Draw and repair things. Better yet, you can even make new friends. I think that's what's cool about VR is you actually get to try things and it might be less, it'll take away some of less cost. It'll be less expensive.
Okay.
Or if you're learning to cook, like our article says, you might be bad at first, so you won't waste food.
True.
You won't catch on fire.
Right.
So I think VR might be a cool place to simulate or to pretend and practice things before you actually go out and try the real thing in real life.
That's very true. And of course, we can learn to do a lot of these things by watching videos on the internet now. But videos aren't interactive, right? You can watch it and then do it on your own. But if you make a mistake, the video is not going to say, wait, you made a mistake. If you did it in virtual reality, you could actually talk to your teacher. And of course, with cooking, drawing, fixing things, there's lots of videos you can watch on places like YouTube now. But of course, the videos don't teach you anything or help you with your mistakes. You watch, you learn, you do. If I was doing it interactively and Kiki was teaching me to draw, for example, we could be sharing a virtual reality piece of paper. If I made a mistake, she could then correct the mistake in real time in the same virtual space. That'd be kind of cool, like actually being there with your teacher instead of just watching and learning.
So when we draw something, it's basically making shapes or lines on some sort of material. It could be paper, it could be a canvas, and with different types of instruments like a pencil or paint. And usually when we draw, though, we are using a pencil.
Pencil, pen, something like that.
And we are basically trying to make some sort of image or an art, and that's what it means to draw. So if you were drawing in virtual reality, you wouldn't be afraid to make a mistake.
Oh, I would make lots of mistakes.
Right. But if you were drawing on paper, you would kind of be really careful, and you won't you think you're not doing a nice job because you don't want to waste paper, or you don't want to start all over again.
Exactly right. And of course, if I made a mistake and you fixed it, my picture would still be beautiful. And that would be a lovely way to learn how to draw. Remember, with drawing, you're not using a brush or paint. That's painting. Drawing would be with colored pens, pencils, or crayons, almost anything like that, but not a brush and paint. That would be different. And also you could learn to repair things. Ooh, I would love to know how to repair more things around my home. To repair something is to fix something. You have a machine or some kind of tool and it breaks in some kind of way, but you think that it can still have another life. It can still come back to be useful. It's not broken totally, so you have to throw it away. No, you think, ooh, if I do this, if I do that, if I get a new little part and put it in, it will be okay again. I want to repair this thing. I want to fix this thing. Of course, if your car or bicycle or motorcycle breaks, you don't just throw it away and buy a new one. That's too expensive. You'll take it to a garage or somewhere like that and get it repaired. But if you can repair it, even better. You save lots of money. So yeah, learning how to repair things around your house would be a great thing to be able to do. Back to the article, VR social platforms make it a lot easier to be with others and to do different things with others as well, as we learned.
Yeah. And they don't limit where you spend your time or who you spend it with. They're really worth checking out. So when we talk about limiting something, it means to be able to do a certain amount of things. There might be restrictions. So if you set a limit for yourself, for example, maybe I am going to limit my phone usage to an hour a day, right? You're setting a goal or a place and a time to stop something. But if we're talking about limiting ourselves, so if Mike, if you were back in Canada and I still wanted to hang out with you, we're not limited by our distance because we have VR.
That's right. We don't have those controls. There's nothing stopping us from doing it because, of course, we're doing it in the virtual reality world. Very, very cool. All right, that's all the time we have for today, but we do have one more day in virtual reality social platforms, and we'll be spending it with a dialogue. So please come back and join us for that. VR social platforms are great for catching up with friends. You may be in the same city or on different coasts. However, in the virtual world, you feel like you're there with them. You can spend hours playing games, watching movies, or just talking. You can also learn to cook, draw, and repair things. Better yet, you can even make new friends. VR social platforms make it a lot easier to be with others. They don't limit where you spend your time or who you spend it with. They're really worth checking out.
Hello, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 coast 名词海岸。The coast is known for its beautiful beaches. 这个海岸以其美丽的沙滩而闻名。下一个单字 draw 动词画图，它的三态是 draw, drew, drawn. Nick drew a picture of his family. Nick 画了一幅全家福的画像。下一个单字 repair 动词修理。My dad repaired the broken chair. 我爸爸修好了那把坏掉的椅子。最后一个单字 limit 动词限制。The teacher limited the number of students in each group. 老师限制了每组的学生人数。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 catch up 了解近况，后面可以加上 with 来接对象。我们来看看这个例句。Tom and I hadn't met in a long time, so we spent the evening catching up. 我和 Tom 很久没见面了，所以整个晚上我们都在聊近况。下一个文法 somebody feels like 加主词加动词，某人感觉像怎么样。Feel like 的意思是感觉像，仿佛，常会用来表达主观的感受。我们来看看这个例句。Ivy felt like she was walking on air after winning the award. Ivy 得奖后，快乐得像是飘在空中。最后一个文法 make friends 交朋友。Friends 在这里惯用复数哦。我们来看看这个例句。Jack found it hard to make friends at his new school. Jack 发现在新学校交朋友很困难。以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Kiki, your computer's still broken.
I know. I've been on the phone with IT for 2 hours.
You've been on hold for that long?
Yeah, I'm so fed up with them.
Okay, time to work on our translations. Today's topic is showing annoyance and impatience. So we have 别烦我.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Oh, very good. Okay, we also have
Straight to the point.
Yeah, very straight to the point. We also have 别来捣乱.
Don't mess around.
Don't be a troublemaker.
Oh, nice. Do you want it?
Don't be a naughty boy.
Oh, I like how you say boy. We know it's never going to be a girl. What have we learned today?
Today's translation topic is showing annoyance and impatience. The phrase is leave me alone. Leaving somebody alone means to not bother someone. So if someone says this phrase, it can have a meaning of don't bother me, I need some time to myself. Our second phrase is stop messing around.
Mess as a verb means to make something untidy. However, mess around means to horseplay or to be mischievous. So, stop messing around can be used to tell someone to stop causing trouble and be serious. And that's all for translations today. Kiwi later!